Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to NDI's first investor question and answer session. Today, we're going to meet the speakers in today's session, and then we're going to do a quick recap of our business case for those of you who are unfamiliar with it. As that is ongoing, please feel free to drop whatever questions you have into the box, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. So, I am Tristan O'Dwyer. I am UK Managing Director of NDI. I've been with NDI a year now, and it's been a very fast-moving, very exciting year. Previous to this, I've spent 20 years working in technology, initially as an engineer, and more recently in senior commercial roles for companies big and small. And I'm going to hand you over to our CEO and founder, Michael Burian. Hello, Michael.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Tristan. Warm welcome, everyone. Thank you for your trust and interest in us. Hopefully this will be interesting and informative. Yeah, my name is Michael Burian. I'm an engineer from heart. I always wanted to build my own plane. That wasn't successful. Now I'm building AI employees with a great team. I have a 25 years career in Accenture that I was focusing on building cool stuff with the hottest technology. That was e-commerce back in the day. Some of you may remember that it was cloud, and almost 4 years now, I focus on generative AI, which is a wonderful new tech wave. So that's me. I founded NDI end of 23 conceptually, and then we went to the market beginning 24, and now we're making good progress. Some of that we'll talk about today.
Great. Okay, so we're going to bring up some slides and give you a quick introduction to NDI. Michael.
Great. Yeah, now NDI, what's the idea behind it? What's the strategy, and how do we want to position in this wonderful, fast evolving, dynamically evolving market? NDI wants to bring generative AI as a service, make it easy and risk-free and uncomplex. So we bring proven, powerful AI employees to mid-sized organizations. So something that's really ready to use, something that is readily deployable. So what is that in more detail? So yeah, we are focusing, other than let's say many custom development companies in the market, we are focusing on ready to deploy, ready to use, proven solutions. We're focusing on the mid-market, not just companies, but also public sector organizations. So we're not competing with the large players, the Accentures of the world, and we have a large market in the mid-market. We really want to be the one-stop provider for our mid-sized clients, being we grow them as these AI employees grow in the market. So we started maybe a very low coverage with initial use cases, but then in 2 to 3 years from now, as the technology evolves, we really want to provide broad coverage to our clients. We provide a full set of all the services that an enterprise or an organization would need to implement and then further manage those AI employees. We have a very international footprint from the start, so we don't want to wait until this market fully matures, but really want to be a global champion. And this is also what our partners like with us. We are giving our clients a very entrepreneurial approach, being we invest into the building of this AI employees, into the implementation. We have a pure pay-as-you-go model, so we're not asking for a commitment. And with that, we want to really position as the partner of trust, as many of our clients don't know how this technology will evolve, and they are shy of getting into any commitments. We are really focusing, as I said, on standard solutions. And when it comes to the make or buy strategy, we are doing buy wherever we can. We are partnering with EMA as the leading edge agentic AI platform in the market. But we also have at the moment one key product that we develop ourselves end to end. So now when you come to the next slide, how are we now differentiated? Some of that I already mentioned. I think, and this is what our partners play back to us, we are uniquely positioned in the market with our ready-to-use proposition and with our pay-per-use and an upfront investment model. Partners that we are working with confirm that there is no similar player addressing the mid-market at the moment. We get very strong positive feedback from our clients who love the risk-free approach, where there is something they can readily use that is proven, number one, and where we are sharing, or we are taking the implementation risk, and we are quick and there's no commitment. Ultimately, as this technology evolves in the market, while we are focusing on our core partnership with EMA, we will also evolve no matter what the technologies are that will win. As a company that uses those technologies, we will evolve in this market. So this is our differentiation. Now, where are we on this journey? We'll go to the next slide. We made good progress since beginning of last year. So you see our end of year 3 business plan targets. So 100 million. Actually, we're just updating this to be a little higher given some recent projections. We today are small. We are just approaching the 1 million rate, but this is because our projects are implemented and each client that we have is growing. So we start with very small scope with this client. The pipeline is actually significantly above 30 million ARR, with some larger deals being close to signature as we speak. We are operational in 7 out of our 8 markets. We have CMDs in place in all of them, or contracting the final CMD roles. In 2027, this is of course very much also subject to the automation level we will reach. We would be roughly a 500 people team. At the moment, we are, as we complete our current acquisition, 72, and the management team is fully onboarded. So that's maybe an overview on our proposition and the situation as we stand. So now let's really take time for all the questions you had, and Tristan will ask them, and we'll then give you the answers.
Thank you very much, Michael. So keep those questions coming in on LinkedIn. We'll endeavor to address all of them over the remainder of the webinar. Michael, we have one question that's come in. In fact, it's a pretty easy one, so I can probably answer it. It said, how much would an investment of 100k Great British pounds be in terms of percentage of the company? So our current round, which is open through Crowdcube at the moment until the 14th of February, another 10 days, our valuation is 100 million. So 100k would buy you
10 million. We don't want to be too expensive.
10 million. Sorry, Michael, you're right. So 100k would buy you 1% of the company. However, Michael, I think that brings us on to another question, which is commonly asked, is what is the methodology by which we arrived at that valuation? If you could give some detail and some color on that, I think that would be appreciated by the audience.
Yeah, no, wonderful, thank you. And of course, it's a key question when you buy something, you want to see is it worth it? So the valuation approach we took here, we have 2 parts of the company basically. We have our services and resale business, where we are using AI employees from the market. That is supposed to be a 100 million business in 3 years, and there is an online tool that we use that is called MyValutico, which is a very detailed evaluation tool, which takes all the components of the business plan and gives us a 480 million valuation based on the business plan for this component in 3 years. And that was basically scaled down. There's some methods I can talk about to say, okay, if you achieve already today this % of the business plan, then we are at 10 million. There's another component, which is our SEGA, student assistant, grading assistant, which we want to do 700 million of revenue in year 4, and we have 29 pilot customers, 100% owned by NDI. This has been valuated to a shocking number of 5 billion if we reach the 700 million number, because it would be highly profitable given the market position we have there. Again, we scale this down to a current valuation. So the current valuation of those 2 combined, and I think the scale down was done very conservatively, was 20 million euro. This is also the number that 6 contracts have been closed that of people investing into us. So this 20 million euro number was then reduced to being 10 million pound, which is 12 million euro, for a one-time period for Crowdcube, for a small amount of money that we're asking for, where we give basically a cash discount, where we say, okay, while the valuation that we're already contracting, for example, with our C-levels that come in, they buy at 20 million, we discounted that to be 12 million.
Great, Michael. Thank you. That's a very comprehensive answer. Thank you very much. So we've got a question coming from LinkedIn. James Durant, he says, hi from Nigel, UK. How has the recent announcement from Seek affected your products and business models? So I assume he's referring to all the turmoil in the AI market last week after the announcement of the new LLM that has emerged from China. What's your take on that, Michael?
Yeah, so number one, I think it's so supporting us in our business model, and so such a strong lever for us that this market is evolving in this dynamic pace. So NDI lives from the dynamic growth of capability in the market. So the better the LLMs are getting, the cheaper they are getting, the better platform technologies are available, security technology, the better is our proposition to this huge mid-market. Now, specifically on DeepSeek, we are the exclusive partner with EMA as our main platform for agentic AI, and EMA is a LLM agnostic. So the EMA Fusion platform, which is the reason why EMA got a 60 million funding at a 500 million valuation, is that they combine every LLM, basically 100 LLMs are in Fusion, and it basically routes between the different ones. So every time a new LLM comes in, maybe Llama 4 coming and so on, the EMA platform will get better because it has more options to answer the best possible and route the best possible way. So for us, it's a great support.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. So we've got a question coming from Dave Mackay. He says, hello from Switzerland. This is turning into the Eurovision now. He said, what markets do you want to penetrate?
Yeah, so our wave one markets, and this is what we have in the business plan, this is what we have in the valuation, saying we could have a great upside even if we were successful in the next 1 or 2 years to expand significantly on that one, is the German-speaking markets, Switzerland being a core market, and Austria and Germany. This is also where we have our current reference client bases, as well as in France, UK, and Italy, where we also have already clients, France and UK. Italy, we are having a good pipeline. And then we just launched US. And UAE, we already did the incorporation, and you saw there's a lot of funding opportunities, and we have 2 managing director candidates that we are now in signing, but we haven't addressed this market yet. So these are 8 launch markets, and we have already, let's say, a stretch plan where we want to go into 25 markets in total. So another 17 where we have then Canada, Brazil, Thailand, Japan, and a few others, as you would expect from being the global, highest prioritized economies.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Keep those questions coming in from the floor. They're very, very good questions so far, really stimulated the conversation. Perhaps while we're waiting for some more questions, I'll address one of the most common questions that we get from UK investors is, does NDI have SCIS and EIS advanced assurance for this funding round? So the answer is that yes, NDI has received SCIS advanced assurance for this round. However, it has been exhausted. We've gone over the $250,000 investment, so there is no more left. However, we have instructed the specialist firm to apply for EIS on our behalf, and this application is in progress, and we are advised that it is highly likely to be granted. So hopefully you can take some comfort in that there will be further tax incentives available in this funding round.
Great.
So again, Michael, well, let's talk about the top table team. One of the questions I've gotten is, I'm interested in the strength of your top table team, and can you clarify any recent or impending changes of personnel or adding to the existing level of input experience in short to medium term, aligned with gaining increased commercial traction and hopefully scaling the business? So I think we've made some recent announcements, haven't we, about strengthening the senior management team, and perhaps you could talk about that for a few minutes.
Yeah, no, great. And I was really very, very happy that the idea and the initial team that was entering this has attracted quite a large number of highly qualified individuals on the management level, but also on the level below. So what is that? So we have the group level management, which, next to me taking the CEO role, is Amir Pellet. You saw the announcement, a very seasoned executive who was working in Microsoft and in Swisscom and in 3 startups, a specialist in marketing and sales, who's taking a CRO role. Kai Brobile is an excellent technology expert and engineer. He is joining us as our CPO. We call this CPO because we are doing partner technology, so Chief Product Officer, but it's also CTO role. So he takes care of all the technology and products in NDI. He's the biggest shareholder after me. And Kai has built a company with 12 very passionate developers who are joining us and are fully focusing on generative AI development. And Kai is a wonderful person to work with as well. We're very happy to have him on board. And we have local co-founders that Tristan's one of them. He's actually one of the first who joined us. We have local co-founders in Germany. I just 3 days back, Kohan Schumacher joined us from Microsoft, from a quite senior position in Microsoft. He quit his job as Microsoft, is joining NDI. I couldn't be more happy than that. You saw that on LinkedIn. Roderick Rühl, a seasoned entrepreneur, joined us as well as a country managing director in Germany. We have Massimiliano Tedeschi joining us in Italy. So 11 local co-founders, including US, have joined us. And all of them, I am very pleased with the level of expertise and passion they bring to the table. And under the management team, of course, the people doing the work, right? So we have quite a good set of really excellent people. We're getting, because we're focused on Gen AI and we're doing a lot of projects and we're doing a mid-market, and there's we get a lot of developers and technology people that really love to do this project and want to focus on this topic, see this as a big topic. So even if we can't pay a lot of money at the moment, and even if a lot of our remuneration is based on shares and the future value of the company, we're getting some excellent talent together. So I think I'm really pleased. Of course, we need to observe this going forward and manage this very, very careful.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Great answer. And yeah, it is a period of very rapid growth. It seems that there's a new superstar joining NDI every week, which is great. This is a good question. This is James again in the UK. He says, UK government has recently talked up AI investment and boost growth funding. Is NDI tapping into this? So this goes back, Michael, to the topic we were addressing last week about investigating public funding. So perhaps you could talk about that.
Yeah, no, we are super excited about this opportunity, and it's not just the UK; it's also UAE. You may have seen the 100 billion program, and then also the US, the Stargate one, which is 500 billion. We need to see what exactly the conditions will look like. But yes, we recently set up a program for that, which is public funding. So we are researching the public funding opportunities across all our 8 markets, UK, of course, being a focus. And we are trying to set up a little bit of an application factory, as we call it, with our Pakistan delivery center, where some people that, really industrialize the creation. Of course, we're using AI as well. We are using our, EMA proposal writer as a document creation engine to apply for multiple of these funds. So yeah, that's mainly the situation. But we just started, so we have another incoming leadership role where it would be in this area of responsibility to drive this program. At the moment, we have a program manager appointed to this, which is also sales director in our team.
Excellent, Michael. Thank you. And thank you for that question, James. Keep them coming in from the floor. This is great. This is very, very interactive and very, very informative for everyone. Michael, a question I've been getting a lot of is, who are your customers? What customers have you signed so far? And I realize that there are some commercial confidentiality around naming certain names and things like that, but perhaps you could take 2 or 3 projects that we've delivered so far and maybe talk about those in a very general sense.
Yeah, no, wonderful. Yeah, indeed, we have some. Number one, we have some restrictions from an NDA point of view, but also many of our projects are really like just implemented and new. But I can talk a little bit about a few of them. So one, our most, so in Switzerland, WWZ is a local energy provider, which roughly 500 people, 200,000 transactions. This is actually quite our typical target footprint. We started with email automation in the front office. We went into chat. So when you go to the website, the chat is now an NDI chat. And then we're just this morning, my son, who's also working in my company, he demoed to me the voice part, which is taking over 120,000 transactions. A really nice voice bot that we are connecting to the other ones. This client is maybe something that we are evolving step by step, and of course need to closely monitor with the client. But I think there's an appetite to conquer also these areas of agentic AI that haven't been. Again, there's 500 employees as a baseline. We're starting with the front office, but we have a lot of ideas already with the client to expand into different areas. Another one, I won't say the name, but it's a leading German based but also internationally operating provider of merchandising equipment, so you can have your company logo and everything on t-shirts and so on. This one is also very strategic for us because it's connected to Odoo. So we're building a relatively versatile digital assistant for Odoo. Odoo is one of the biggest ERP CRM systems in the market, specifically in the mid-market. We have already, let's say, 8 functions that we are working on, so different parts. So automated order entry. There is, of course, the whole customer care FAQ traffic. And this client is using, so they have roughly 80 employees, so rather on the small side, but they are addressing 5 European markets. They want to expand to 25 markets, and they're using now this AI employee to, in multi-language, expand rapidly. And this is a showcase where once we are able to also publicly release that, I'm very proud of, because it shows the potential of an AI employee to help an organization to really scale, not to reduce the number of employees, but to increase the interaction in the market. So that's another one. A client that is in pilot phase. So we have done the first pilot and the second pilot, and we're now waiting to do the large rollout contract. So we're just doing the pilot. So we haven't finally contracted, but we have negotiated the contract, and we have delivered to them already 2 pilots. Is a large field support outsourcing provider with 2,500 employees and 140 large clients. So they serve 140 clients. 700 of their employees are front office employees that they, over the next 2 to 3 years, want to automate with our help and with EMA. And we have a program plan how this should work. This alone is a client that could be good for 3 to 5 million ARR. And yeah, we are close to signing them up. So yeah, this is a little bit of the client portfolio. There's another set of client with the acquisition of Adonis. There comes in a number of mid-sized clients that Adonis has been serving that all have some AI employee use cases that we're now basically upgrading to the NDI portfolio. And then we have quite a dense pipeline. Tristan, you're aware of a number of pilots running that we hope we can quickly convert into paying projects.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michael. That was a good overview of the current state of affairs. I have no more questions coming in from the floor. However, I have one more question from my list of questions that I commonly get asked. And I guess we kind of covered this in the beginning presentation, although it's presented to me slightly differently and slightly more bluntly. People say, who are your competitors? And when you say, well, we don't really have any direct competitors, they kind of they don't really accept that as an answer. So perhaps we could address that. Who are our competitors, and why we kind of see that there is no direct competition in the market? There's competition direct. So maybe you could add some detail to that.
Yeah, no, I thank you, Tristan. And I learned in recent interactions also with some high-profile, let's say, angel investors that we have currently in discussion to invest into us as well next to Crowdcube. I learned that if you say you don't have a single competitor, that this is always suspicious, that people say, oh, maybe you are in a spot where there is no market. So I hope that's not the case. we are in a very active and dynamic market. Every company, every enterprise exploring how to use AI for their business processes. And when we look at the competitive landscape, there is, of course, the traditional IT service providers that serve mid-sized companies. There's some Bechtle and Computer Center, and there's a local telcos. They all sell software. They sell IT services. They sell Microsoft. They're Microsoft partners. But they don't have this clear AI footprint. Yes, they will also start to do, the Microsoft AI portfolio. They will serve Copilot Studio, and come up with initial use cases, but they don't have this strong focus. So when we were competing at one of our charter clients, they were not even asking the incumbent. They were not asking the incumbent IT service provider, because they said, you guys are specialists on AI. You have ready-to-use use case. By the way, you take the risk. Our incumbent service provider would have said, we do an analysis, we do some workshops, we develop something for you. You pay us times and material. You pay us each step of the journey. We can't tell you what will be the outcome. And by the way, our people are just recently been trained on this. It's not a crew that just does it. It's a new one. So, but it's a competitive group, of course, that we have. The other one, of course, I mean, the platforms we have, EMA, but also the other platforms that we have is the secondary choice, which is Microsoft, Google, AWS. We have Clean, we have Sana AI, we have a few specialized ones. We are getting requests of AI system providers every week that want to partner with us and have us as a channel. Those technologies could be seen as a competition in some case, because the moment they don't sign up with us as a partnership, they go into the market direct as well, right? So if you have Lexity for legal documents, they can address a client directly with their direct channel, and they could then be, to some extent, a competition. Most of the platforms we see are very much focusing on the partner channel. So they don't create a big level of competition, because in the mid-market, they see that they need a partner that brings them to the client, and that the direct channel is not the preferred way. But there is some sort of competition coexistence with that as well. The big ones, the Accentures and Deloittes of the world, and the Infosys ones, are not competitors, because they're addressing another market segment. There may be a little slight overlap. Accenture has Avanade. They go a little bit more into the mid-market, and they're quite active on the Microsoft front. And also Infosys maybe goes a little bit down into some, let's say, Fortune 2000 companies. We go sometimes up into Fortune 2000 companies. So there may be a slight level of overlap, but not a big one, because they're really focusing on the big ones. And I'm in very good contact to my ex-colleagues in Accenture, and they reconfirm this all the time to me, that this is the case. And then we have a fourth group of, let's say, competitors, which is AI agencies, AI development companies, typically small, 10, 20 people, 30 people, typically local. So they do in Germany, right? There's a company called Neuland in Cologne. They have 30 people. They are German-based, 2 or 3 partners. And what they do is custom development, where they approach local clients to explore AI use cases. Of course, they also do some reuse. They're not focusing on partner technology. They typically build something themselves with Python and with a large language model. They go to client and develop. And then you have, of course, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man companies that do the same. There are more of them as well. Again, if you look at our target customers, our proposition is very differentiated. We come with something proven. We come with an engine behind us, with a delivery engine, with a proven technology. We can be much quicker. We can be much more cost effective. We have certainty of outcome on what we're doing. But it's a competitor group. So that is how I would see the competition. So yes, there is competition, and there will be more competition, but we see ourselves very well positioned and very differentiated.
Michael, that was a great answer, very, very comprehensive. And I think anybody who has invested so far or is thinking about investing will be satisfied that we've done all the due diligence possible on the competition. So thank you for that. I don't have any more questions from the audience or pre-prepared questions. Alina, can we pull up this slide again, the final slide with our contact details on it? If anybody has any questions that occurs to them after this session, there are the email details for Michael and I have just flashed up on your screen. So I'll give you a minute to make note of those, screenshot those, and please feel free to contact us at any point after this presentation. Remember that the current round open through Crowdcube concludes on the 14th of February, 10 days from now.
Yeah, no, Tristan, if I may add, thank you so much. If I may add also one quick point, I think now we have some potential investors in this call, and maybe hopefully also some investors, but this dialogue is a dialogue that we will continue on an ongoing basis. We of course will hold investor Q&As on a regular basis to give updates on where we are on our journey and where we may course correct and where we hopefully have exciting news to share. This will be a format we will be using going forward. And as Tristan said, we are very open, of course, to any communications on LinkedIn or on email if someone is interested in learning more.
Wonderful. Thank you very much to everyone who's attended. Thank you, Michael. Thank you to our backstage crew, Peter and Alina, who made this technically possible. Thank you so much, everyone. And like Michael said, this is going to be a regular occasion and occurrence going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.